Wow. Hello. I like our mugshots. That's good, by the way. I like the way they did my hair at the studio before I went to jail. It looked really good.
Four brothers from the same mother, evidently.
I got a real mugshot if he wants it. I got to dig up some shit, but I got a mugshot.
Hey, T.Y., I got to admit, man, every time, man, you impress me every week.
I'm trying to be like you, big dog.
You showing out on me, man.
Yeah, you definitely added you added something to that. That looked good.
Eventually, I'm going to get to that's all file footage. That's the stuff we won't get in trouble for. But pretty soon, I will replace it with, shit from us out at shows and things like that. It'll be fun.
Wow.
I'm assuming that's somebody related to Command Sergeant Major over there.
We're probably going to have
shout out to Miss Woodring.
100,000 people watching this one.
He married. He definitely married up. I just want to throw that out there before we bring him on. Man, he married up big, boy. Hey, damn.
Hey, before we get started, shouts out to every single body who's come back to see the Triple Threat Vet podcast show once again. I'm telling you guys, all four of us, man, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the reason why we do it. You guys are the reason why we show up. To be honest, you guys are why I make it through the week, because I can't wait to get to Thursday to be with my brothers and talk to you guys. So keep watching. Know that we love you, even if we don't tell you personally by name. If you're out there, we love you. We appreciate you guys coming out, and do us a favor. Share, subscribe. What is the thing they say? You know what I'm saying?
Subscribe, and
Smash
share.
that like button.
Absolutely. Let's do this. Let's blow up together, guys.
Holy cow, Doc Powell. What's up? How you doing, Doc? Nice of you to tune in.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty rough week, right?
Doc. She was awesome.
Doc, I got this bump. And I don't know where it came from.
Start it.
But I needed somebody to take a look at it. I want to throw it out there.
That was a key triggered word for out. Doc. Oh,
right.
Wait a minute.
Doc, right.
I got this thing going on.
I had a running prescription for penicillin back in the day with our doc. They already knew. Like, I'm coming in, bro. Got some bad news. I got some bad news, and I got it from a toilet seat. Just want to throw that out there.
So
and they're like, again?
Al, are you going to be on your best behavior this podcast, or should we expect?
So I am. No, my wife is volunteering now with hospice out here and doing the hospice stuff, and then also doing the 11th hour stuff, and then she's also doing the veteran stuff. And the lady who brought her in and did all her stuff, her background, her trainer, my wife was like, "Oh, your husband." They were talking. Her husband's a retired chief in the Navy too, and she was like, "What's your husband do?" She was telling about our podcast. She was like, "Oh my God, I'll have to watch that." And my wife was like, "Well, before you tune in, I just want you to know that my husband is not a reflection of me." So I made my wife a promise. I'm going to limit the F-bombs moving forward to only a couple of show. Only when they're warranted. Only when they're warranted.
So April said, watch from today forward. Don't go back.
She told her husband, she was like, your husband should watch, but I don't know if you're really going to want to watch.
Well, look, maybe we can help you with that, man. Maybe we can do like a fundraiser or something that every time you say the F-bomb, it costs. And then, somebody has to put the number of times, and then we can raise money. That way, either you're going to make us a lot of money. Yeah, you can either make us a lot of money from your flying.
I mean, we have the every time he says it, you got to hit it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to help you. That's if you want counseling, bro. We're here to help.
I'm gonna call Berto. Berto, I need you to figure out how to stop that shit from happening.
He's in the chat.
Yeah, I see him.
Hey, so let me go through these comments real quick. We're getting a lot of 7/16 people, so I'm very appreciative of that. As you can see, I got my 7/16 and 101 MP shirts in the back. So big shout out to Lonnie Lochner.
I remember
he was at Fort Campbell for a long time. He ended up being a first sergeant in the 101st MP Company.
Welcome back, Lonnie. We seen you last week. Welcome
back, Lonnie.
Absolutely. And then Doc Powell, who I think we deployed together once or twice. I know we were there 0709. She was an awesome medic, combat medic. I actually wrote a rap. Me and a guy named Sergeant Green wrote a rap about Bog, B to the OG. I drive my gator up and down Disney. So
yeah, okay. We might have to hear that one. I'm gonna have to hear that one.
His platoon, I think, ran they had either one of the log packs down to Kabul or they ran the cage. I can't remember, but he was riding all around Bagram on that thing. And of course we got Berto in there. Who else we got? Philip Lenz. He was the XO, and he's also a mighty bass player in a band we had over there called Staff Infection. So, hey, thank y'all for listening. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we went through the list of people that are here.
Did you mention this guy? I don't know who he is, but he's repping for the 716.
Oh, Nate Brookshire. He was the commander for HHD.
Yeah.
You can't lead the officers out. You can't lead the cake eaters out, bro.
Well, he was a sergeant first class before, and then he made sergeant first class, and then became an officer. And then he was a damn fine captain, commander of HHD when we were deployed. So that's awesome.
Jimmy,
and of course that's my cousin. So what's up, cuz?
Well, I think, Ty, on that note, then I mean everybody's here to see our hallowed guest today. I'm excited about it. He's a legend. If you guys don't know him, I'm sure a lot of these people do know him. So I think it's about that time, Ty, to go ahead and let's do an introduction and bring the man of the hour on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I will.
Why are you sweating, Ty? You look a little nervous over there.
No, I'm telling you, I've not had, but we had all kinds of people on this podcast, and I've not really gotten butterflies in my stomach announcing someone or with them being on. But this gentleman, I met him in 2002 when I switched from 551 MP Company to the 101st MP Company Air Assault. It's the division MP Company. He was a platoon sergeant. What's up, home front sit rep? His name is Sergeant Major Rich Woodring. He went on to become the Military District of Washington and Pentagon Sergeant Major. He was a regimental MP Sergeant Major. I'm probably getting some of that wrong. I know he was a first sergeant in Germany in the 630th MP. So without further ado, let's bring on Rich Woodring.
Hey,
there he is. Welcome.
Oh,
my man. Welcome, Rich. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me in. And hey, just to clarify, that's my sister. That's not my wife. She's out of the net today. So I didn't marry up. That would be a little hokey.
That's more Thai style. That's not Kentucky shit. So I mean, it would be okay where he's from.
Very well. Just want to clarify that one.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we wanted.
So that means is she married?
No.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Rich, we wanted to thank you for coming on. It is a pleasure to talk to you, sir. I think that this is going to be one of those episodes that's going to get replayed over and over again, because if I know anything about our man Ty and everything that he said about you, I am like excited to hear about your history, hear about the things that you're getting into, and just hear about like what makes you tick and what makes you move forward. And I'm just telling you, I'm excited to just get to know you a little bit better.
Cool. I definitely appreciate it. And I did have one story about Doc Powell real quick. She may or may not remember this, but we were in Iraq, and I think I was I may have been the CSM by then, may have been the Officer Major, but I was out running, and there was a pretty bad dust storm, and the ground reached up and bit me and threw me down, and I had cut my leg and stuff, and I went and knocked on her door, and I'm like, "Hey, Doc, is this thing going to be okay or whatever?" And she just kind of looked at me like, "You are stupid being out in this in the first place," and she hooked me up and fixed me, but she was fantastic. I'm glad that she's on here and doing well, and all of the other 716 folks and 630th folks and everybody else who may be listening. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Lonnie and all those folks. I could spend this entire show just sitting here and thanking everybody by name that made me successsul, because it sure as hell wasn't me. It was folks like Ty, and I mean, it just on and on and on. And I would feel terrible if I tried to mention names and I forgot people, because I mean there's just too many people to say why I'm successful. It was never anything I did. I was just fortunate enough to ride the coattails of the best men and women in the United States. And that's truly how I feel.
I've heard that for
Spoken
so
like a
many
true
years.
leader.
Probably heard that about 10 times, haven't you, Ty?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, more than 10. Shout out to Michael Vaughn. I actually went to air assault school with Michael Vaughn. He was a PSD for General Petraeus. He was the NCOIC for the PSD
That's
team
right.
for General Petraeus during 03. So shout out, battle buddy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I took a tiny bit of butt pain from getting him out processed very quickly so that he could go back and join General Petraeus. Because at the time, I'm like, bullshit, he's ours. And they're like, this is General Petraeus. Well, clearly he's General Petraeus, so he's not mine.
Right.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting. But I do want to, before I even start anything, I do want to thank you guys too, because I've watched several of your shows, and I tell you what you're doing for the veteran community and just the military at large. You guys are outstanding. I think it's a great service of what you're doing for us, and giving that voice to people out there like Rudd a couple weeks ago and Fight and those guys, and just different approaches of how veterans can take care of themselves and the opportunities are out there, especially if they're struggling through things like PTSD and that. And I think we all have different ways of how we cope with it, and it's great that what you guys are doing for the veterans out there.
Man, that's awesome.
Thanks, Sergeant Major.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
I've often said to all my soldiers that after working with me for a year, that in that closer proximity, you're probably going to need to talk to the wizard.
Yeah.
Just because of how intense that I know that I was, and I learned it from people, like you and Brandon Hughes and Lonnie Lochner and all those guys that are in the chat right now. It's giving me chills to see all these people.
I think I ran into you at CIF or something when I came back as the Ops Sergeant Major. You were sitting at CIF or something like that, and I was or maybe clothing sales. But I know we talked to you. Like I talked to you for like 10 minutes. I'd just gotten there from the academy. I was going up to take the operations Sergeant Major job, and I mean, Cobb, you look like a kid in Christmas, man. You were so excited about it. And I'm like, damn, man, wait till he really gets to see me. He ain't gonna be too excited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talking about that, Rich, let's walk us through what brought you into the Army, like what made you decide to take that step to serve your country, and kind of fill in the gaps for us on what it was like coming up in the ranks and how you got to where you were when you met Ty, and then a little bit about like what you guys did together and the impact you guys made.
So Matt, before he jumps in, I can answer the first part of that question. What made him join the Army? the low ASVAB score. He probably scored on the ASVAB, probably pushed him that direction. Just want to say,
109. So yeah, okay. I mean, okay. My choices were slim.
Stand corrected.
Yeah. So and this kind of ties into the thing that I'll talk about later. Of us and what we need to do to talk about encouraging people to join the service. So I was. My mom and dad got divorced when I was little, around 8 years old. And it was my mom and my brother and sister. And long story short, we moved 12 times. I went to 3 different high schools. We were, for lack of better words, we were poor. Food stamps, didn't have nice cars, stuff like that and everything. And I really struggled in school, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then had an Army recruiter hit me up and said, hey, why don't you think about joining the Army? And I met a guy that was in one of the reserve detachments there, and he said, you can join the reserves, and it's really no risk. And I'm like, okay, why not? So I signed up, but I went into the delayed entry program in the reserves, and I went to basic training at Fort McClellan in 1985. So signed up in 84, went to basic in AIT, or went to basic in 85. And as soon as I got into basic training, I absolutely loved it. I'm like, this is me. This is what I want. I loved the discipline. I loved the structure. I loved the camaraderie, the competition, everything else. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. I actually got smoked really bad by my drill sergeant because I signed up for airborne school, and I was a reservist, and they whipped me pretty bad because I guess my name somehow got through the pipeline initially, and they're like, hey, dude, you can't go. And I'm like, why not? And so I did that. I went back immediately. I got coached by my commander, which I was very fortunate because, the reserve paid for that slot, and I had to have a reason to go active duty, and they kind of helped me come up with a way to do it. So I immediately joined the active Army, went back into basic training. I really wanted to go overseas first because, I'd never been anywhere. Kansas, Oklahoma, and that was really the extent of my travels. And so I had asked to go overseas right away, and they said, yeah, sure, you can go overseas. You can go to Korea. And I'm like, great. When can I go? 30 days. Nope, that's not fast enough. Well, we can send you to Germany. Okay, great. When can I go? Well, you can ship out in about 30 days. Nope, I want to go somewhere now, like right now, as soon as possible. So the guy told me, he goes, well, we have Fort Stewart, Georgia. And I'm like, well, Georgia's not overseas unless you're talking about, former Soviet Georgia. And he was like, no, he goes, Fort Stewart, Georgia. He goes, that's a good place. And he goes, it's down by Savannah. And he goes, they got the Rangers there. And I had heard about the Rangers and stuff like that. I said, cool. I said, so can I be a Ranger? He's like, absolutely. Bullshit. I could not at the time. So the old recruiter got me on that one. So there I am.
Good man.
I show up at Fort Stewart, Georgia. I hate heat and humidity, by the way. Didn't know crap about the South other than Fort McClellan. And it was miserable. So I was in a garrison. I started out initially in the 24th MP company briefly, got moved up to the garrison MP company to work the road basically. That worked in the traffic section. I, at the time, was the only PFC that was allowed to be a patrol supervisor. Everybody else was sergeants and specialists. So pretty much my entire career, with the exception of 2 years, I've been in charge of somebody.
So you were take charge even as a PFC?
Our CSM came down one day in a guard mount, and he goes, is there anybody here who thinks they can do a flawless guard mount? And I'm like, sure, why not? I did it, and he was like, I'll be damned. He goes, you know how many times I've been to Fort Stewart and up here at Hunter, and I've asked people to take this challenge and nobody's done it? And he goes, and you're the only person who's ever done it flawlessly? He goes, you're a patrol suit now. And, I was like, cool. So what does that mean? I don't stand gate. I was like, hell yeah. So So I did that for about a year and a half, moved into traffic, worked in the traffic section. So your Swamp Thing picture, that's where that came from. I was actually working in the traffic section.
What time frame was for that?
86, maybe 87. No, maybe 86. So they came in looking for people to be in the movie, and I was working behind the counter at the time. I was getting ready to go out on patrol, and I said, they came in. They said, "Hey, can we talk to your boss?" And I'm like, "Sure, what about?" And they said, "We want to put some flyers up on post to advertise for this movie." And I said, "Sure." I said, "Hang on for just a second." And so I went in. I told the provost marshal, "Hey, sir, these folks here, they want to talk to you about doing a movie or something like that." So they go in and they talk to him and tell him what they're doing. They're looking for people to be extras in this movie. And so my boss is like, he goes, "Well, what kind of people are you looking for?" And they go, "That dude that we just saw out there, he needs to apply." So after they left, they came out and they're like, "Hey, Woodring, they want you to go down there." And I'm like, "I'm not doing that crap." I'm like, I said, "Why would I do that?" And they're like, "Why? They want you to do it." And I'm like, "I'm not going to get this part." And I'm like, "I'm not going to go waste my time standing out there." Well, my NCOIC made me go with him because he actually wanted to do it. So they brought us in a room, a group of 12, and they just asked you questions. It was a stunt coordinator that asked us these questions, kind of like, "Hey, what do you do? Are you familiar with weapons?" And that. They did not want Rangers. They specifically did not want Rangers because of the haircut at the time. They wore high tights. And so they're like, "Do any of you guys have familiarity with weapons?" I'm like, "Well, duh, yeah." At the time I was on the SRT, it's like the Army equivalent of a SWAT team. And, they said, any of you guys have any special skills? And I said, "Well, I'm on an SRT." And they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, I said, "It's kind of like the Army's version of a SWAT team." So they start writing down in their notebooks and everything. And then they're like, "Is there anybody have any other skills or anything like this?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, I do rappelling and all that." They start writing in their notebooks and so they get done and they tell everybody, "Okay, hey guys, thanks. We'll give you a call back in about 15 or 20 days, if we need you." And so we walk out, and my boss is like, "Hey, how'd it go?" And I said, "Sir, there's no way." I said, "Hey, Sergeant, there's no way." I said, "These guys," I said, "a lot of these guys have been extras in other shows." And I said, "I'm not going to get a call." I got back to the office, and they had already called and said, "When can this guy start?" So I worked 30 days on the set, got to meet Heather Locklear, got to meet Tommy Lee. Of course, Dick Durock was Swamp Thing in that one. Met Heather Locklear's sister. And it was just a crazy experience. It was really fun. I wouldn't do it again because it wasn't my thing. But
well, now you'll be the leading man.
Yeah.
And that movie scared the shit out of me. I was 7 years old when that movie came out.
That was the dumbest damn movie in the world.
Scared the shit out of me.
As a matter of fact, I think I've seen it like 4 times, and I never plan on seeing it again. But yeah, it was. I am actually the guy who was. If you look at the close up, I fired the 203 that blew him up in the swamp. So that's my claim to fame. And so this thing where you see us at the fence and he hits our 2 heads together. Well, the first time he really freaking smacked our heads together. I mean, it hurt. It sounded like 2 damn coconuts. I'm like, son of a bitch. And you look at this big old dude and he's staring over. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry about that." And I'm like, "Damn." I said, they're like, "Hey, we need to do it again." I'm like, "I don't think so." So yeah, that was the thing. But it was a great experience, and it was just something neat. But so
we used to get in trouble for mentioning this.
Yeah,
we used to get in trouble for mentioning it because I screened the movie in the day room one time.
And Captain Dable showed a clip of it of patrolling at JRTC.
We talked about it when he was an OC down there. Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. But I did get my carrot cake, so I was happy with that. So after that, I left Fort Stewart. I went to Turkey for a year. Fantastic experience. Really enjoyed that. I was a site NCOIC on a nuclear weapons site. Had a really good time with that. Went back to Fort Stewart. got put on the desk as a desk sergeant. They called me Dr. Death because it seemed like every time I worked, people would wind up dying, and I would get those calls. And I tell you what, I think I invented multitasking because I could listen to the radio. I listen to I-95. I could be typing the blotter. I could be answering the phone and issuing weapons at the same time and not miss a beat. And so I did that. And then I went to Germany, went there, and that's where I really started thinking that, hey, I got to step my game up because, I went to a core MP company. I met
the 630th MP company, right?
No. This was the 212th at the time.
212th.
630th was when I was first sergeant. So
right.
Went to the 212th MP company. I really met some good NCOs. Mickey McQuain was still is a good friend of mine, but I looked and I'm like, man, I got to step my game up because these guys are sharp and I've kind of stagnated a little bit. So I really put my heart and soul into, learning the field craft and leadership and that to keep up, more or less. And so I started out as a team leader. By the time I left, I was a new staff sergeant. I think I'd been a staff sergeant maybe 6-7 months, and I was the platoon sergeant. And I had deployed him to Bosnia, and I did 9 months to Bosnia. Got sent to from there to Fort Huachuca. Went back into investigations. I was a supervisor for military police investigations for 2 years, and then from there went over to Korea, ops NCO, and then I was a platoon sergeant in Korea. And that's when I finally got stuff to go to Fort Campbell. I had asked, and I had a good sergeant major there, Sergeant Major Dorian, who had been in Campbell before. She pulled some strings, got me sent to Campbell. And by the grace of God, I got sent to the 101st MP company as a non-assault, air assault, non-airborne MP. And I was like, what in the hell am I walking into? I'm a sergeant first class, going to be a platoon sergeant, and I got no wings. I'm a flatliner. So I'm not going to do well. And as a matter of fact, I remember the first day I get there, my first sergeant Visnick sits there and he goes, hey, Sergeant, welcome to the 101st MP company. I'm like, hey, roger that, first sergeant. He goes, got one question for you. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you got an extra pair of boots in your vehicle? I'm like, I sure do. And he goes, good. You're going to be doing the O course here in a little bit. So if you were not air assault qualified at the time, every single day you did PT in the morning. At the end of the day, you went out, you did your 2 miles in your boots and BDUs, and you went and did the O course. And that was every day until you got air assault qualified. So I was built up for it. I was ready to go to air assault school, mentally set and everything else. And I'm that dumbass that sits there and does every single push up and every single flutter kick when they're telling you to drop and everything. Because I'm thinking they're all staring directly at me. And so as fate would have it, I started at the front of the obstacle course and not the back of the rope climb. And long story short, I failed air assault school the first time, got to the rope, got almost all the way up, reached on the thing, slipped and fell down. So what they do is they move you to the back of the line and they say, hey, you're gonna redo it. Well, there was only at the time, there's I think only 2 people or 3 people in front of me. The dude right in front of me goes up, grabs your rope, let's go. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. I got no rest. So the guy looks at me and goes, go. And I'm like, oh, geez. So I get almost up to the top again. I couldn't do it. I went back to the company. I went into the commander and I said, you need to kick me out of the company. I said, I can't maintain the standard. And I said, I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. This is not what I should do. And my commander just kind of looked at me. He goes, shut up. He goes, you're going to go back to air assault school. You're going to pass it. And this is going to be behind you. But that's the only school I've ever failed. But even one of the instructors told me, he goes, hey, dummy, you're not supposed to do every push up and when we're not watching, you're not pushing. And I'm like, well, shit, nobody told me that. I'm sitting here thinking I'm being watched every second. So second time I went through, I breezed it. And so I did that, deployed the part of our platoon to Kosovo, had a great time over there, came back, was on orders to go to Germany. Went to Germany the second time, and immediately I was a detachment sergeant for the 793rd MP Battalion. Got deployed to Kosovo again. We got extended in Kosovo because at the time the Iraq War had just started to kick off. So I was like, well, that's it. I'm gonna miss my opportunity. I'm probably not gonna deploy because I'm gonna be stuck here in Kosovo. And I was scheduled to become a first sergeant already, but the battalion sergeant major said, hey, I really need you as a detachment sergeant. Okay, gotcha. So I went and did that. Then I eventually moved over to the 630th MP company and took over as the first sergeant. We deployed to Iraq, did the 12 months there. Unfortunately, I lost a soldier over there. Probably the most difficult time I had ever had as a leader at that time growing up. And, we got back, we weren't even back from the deployment, and the company already knew they were going back again. So it was kind of a really hard pill for them to swallow, and even harder for me because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go. I'd been selected for the Sergeant's Major Academy. I asked if I could forego the academy and stay. They said, absolutely not. You're going to the academy. So went to Fort Bliss, did my time in the academy, then went to Fort Campbell the second time, and that's when I ran into Cobb the second time. But let me tell you about PFC Cobb. Cabo,
here we go.
As my commo guy there in the 101st. So, Cobb was kind of like the jack of all trades. He could do everything. He could work on the vehicles. He could do radios. He could do everything well, except every once in a while, Cobb just kind of had this tendency to be where I didn't need him to be, and it was always like I'd be somewhere and I was like, I'd be talking to somebody, I'd be doing something like it, and I'd look up and there's fucking Cobb walking by. I'm like, what is this dude doing here? This is not Camo. This is not where Cobb's supposed to be.
Oh, you mean to say that opposite country? Oh, I didn't know this was opposite country.
I think one time I was over at the higher talk because we were supporting an op out in the field, and I'm sitting there, and I think my platoon and I actually get our butt chewed over something. And I look up, and Cobb is walking by the damn talk, and I'm like, "You're not even in our company area, dude. How the hell are you over here?" And it was just like, I told my boss, or I told platoon leader, I said, "Man, I swear Cobb has a tracking device on us, and he is just watching what we're doing." And I think he was kind of like my silent bodyguard. He was ready to bum rush somebody if I got in trouble too bad or anything. But he just, the one thing I can always say about Cobb, tried and true, it did not matter the problem or anything else. He definitely had your back. Cobb always had your back. And he just cracked me up, man. There you go. That damn plugger. Yeah.
Birdo, and dagger. It was a dagger.
Dagger. Okay. Plugger, dagger. It's all the same damn thing to me. Ends with an R. But and then flash forward, we're over in Iraq again. We're told we're going to do 15 months. I had been on the list to be a CSM. They were going to pull me to send me to Afghanistan, and the powers that be had a big fight about it. And they're like, "Hey, no, he's an ops guy. He's going to go over there, and we'll worry about if he gets to be a CSM later." Well, as fate would have it, the current battalion CSM at the time, he got selected to take a brigade, and he was able to get them to release him and then let me take his place. So I was pretty fortunate, but I had a battalion commander that was straight up a pain in the ass. And he wanted me to build this Taj Mahal. He wanted this freaking talk that, stadium seats and all this other crap and everything. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me, man. We're in the middle of Iraq and we got all these companies and everything. You're worried about stadium seating. Okay. So, I went to Cobb and I'm like, "Hey man, this is what I need. This is what we got. This is how we're going to do it and everything else. And he just looked at me. He's like, I got it. I'm like, well, damn, I'm glad somebody does, because I ain't got it. So it was always those things that when I knew I was in a pinch and I really needed support, I asked no further. Cobb would have my back, and even if it wasn't a commo related thing, other than misplacing that damn dagger, and I think I was wise to it, because my chew was right behind the headquarters, and I heard all these footsteps one night, and it may have been them, and it may have been another company that lost some hand grenades. But I heard all these footsteps kind of going back and forth, and they'd stop in front of my chew, and then they'd walk off again. And then they come and they'd stop in front of my chew and they'd walk off again. So finally I heard a long pause, and I'm like, why don't you just knock on the damn door and tell me what you want to tell me? And they come up and they're like, Sergeant Major, we're missing this and we're missing this, and we can't find these grenades. And I'm like, okay.
How many grenades was it?
Yeah, how do you lose grenades?
I think it was an ammo can of grenades. I think it was like
How in the hell?
12 or 13 of them.
That's not those 15 hand grenades you sold me last week, is it?
Oh no! The hand grenades had nothing to do with me. Mine was a dagger back at Fort Campbell. Yeah, the hand grenades. That was one of those companies that was down the way from us in that other building. But yeah, I remember all that stuff. So yeah,
it was
like people would knock on my door before they would go knock on like Quentin Smith's door or Sergeant Major's door, because I knew them.
Get that sounding board.
From a PFC. So
is he going to kill me?
How they were going to react? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or is he going to get the knife hand? That's what it was.
That's what you invented it. I knew you did. I freaking knew it.
Yeah. Hey, what was this rocket under your cot there, Cobb?
I thought he was wanting you to tell a story, but this is the story where we were at 561st.
Yeah.
Was in Salerno in 2006, and some incoming came in and
went right through your chew, right?
One, went right through my chew, destroyed my PlayStation, but didn't explode. So I went and talked.
I heard the story.
First sergeant, I was like, that rocket hit our tent. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
I heard that story one night eating edibles, and I don't remember much of it till now.
Yeah, so it just Cobb always had my back and stuff like that. So we got back and we did a Sea Smurf mission for a little while. And Cobb, I think you were still there, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
so we had to take over the chemical consequence response force management thing, and did that for a while, and then I got sent to Hawaii for a hell tour as a brigade CSM. It was actually pretty good, but again, we had some issues there with my commander. And then I'm in the middle of that rotation in Hawaii, and I get called from the SMA's office, and they're like, "Hey, give me a reason why you can't go to Afghanistan." And I'm like, "I don't have a reason why I can't go to Afghanistan." So next thing I know, I'm
the task force that you.
Yeah, then I'm sent to Combined Joint Interagency Task Force 435 in Afghanistan, where we have all the detainees. I don't know shit about detainees. I'm a Bravo by trade, so I was a combat support MP, and other than a few little hokey EPW camp things that we had done, I didn't know anything about detainee operations, and so I learned real quick. I really didn't learn anything. I trusted those folks that were in there to do the right thing and to tell me the right thing and make sure that I was taking care of them. I mean, that was my biggest thing is I'm going to have your back, but you've got to be straight with me, and you've got to do everything right, because if I'm going to have your back, by God, then I want to know that I'm doing it for the right reason.
Well, so this brings me to something I want to say to you, because I remember sitting in your office with your squad leaders, and that's actually where I learned, to sit with your squad leaders and kind of go over the weeks happening, maybe go over the next training calendar for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I was listening when you were PFC, you were patrol soup. So at what point did you start like reading the training schedule to know what was going on? Like, did that start at PFC, or was it at Staff Sergeant whenever you hit that milestone?
Actually, when I was an E2, before I became a PSC, because, you know, back in the day, I mean, the training schedule was the gospel. That's what you did. And you know, I've even said a couple times, so the military's not hard as long as you really do three things. You're at the right place, the right time, the right uniform, and you're ready to do the mission that you're supposed to do. If you can do those things, you can be successful. And so that, you know, the training schedule was our thing. That's what you had to do. It told you your shift. It told you what the uniform was, and it told you, you know, what time you're going to be on, what off, and then it had your references, you know, especially if you were doing field training or something like that. Hey, it's FM 3-5 or this, that, the other. So I really, then I did it, and I was very fortunate because I had a great. My squad leader sucked, but my platoon sergeant was excellent. And I swear this guy was like from Gardens of Stone. I mean, our rooms had to be immaculate. Everything was dress right dress. Everything had to be 6 inches from the wall. When you weren't in the room, the trash can was turned upside down, 2 finger spaces between each hanger. Everything was buttoned. You know, all of that stuff. That is exactly the way everything had to be done. I just ate it up. I mean, that was me to a T. I had everything, you know, it just the way it was.
Yeah, I can tell by the background. I can tell by the stuff you got in the background right there. It's all measured up and everything. I can see it.
This is actually my garage too. I mean,
wow.
Think about the rest of the house.
If that's the garage, I already know what kind of situation.
Yeah, the house is my wife's domain, so I get the garage.
Shit, I'm sitting in my damn spare room in my trailer in the hood. I don't know what the hell going on.
That's why my lighting sucks so bad. Yeah.
We're gonna pay some bills real quick, and then we'll bring it right back.
Well, hold on, right, ladies and gentlemen, you're on the Triple Threat Vet Podcast with a true American hero, Rich Woodring in the building, and we will be right back after we come to these bill payments that we have to do here. Stand by.
Get ready to groove to the electrifying sounds of DJ Royal T, the maestro of mixing who knows how to turn any event into an unforgettable dance sensation. Royalty Entertainment is here to bring you the ultimate musical experience straight from the ones and twos in your ears and through your body to activate them dancing shoes. Get ready to sweat, party, and have a good time while your DJ needs are being blazed by none other than me, DJ Royal T. I have spent years crafting together a DJ entertainment empire that promises a customized blend of musical tracks, mix and mastering, and top quality sound, all while providing a vibrant ambiance to accommodate any of your DJ needs. Royalty Entertainment Services is your premier one-stop shop for top-tier musical entertainment and is hosted by yours truly. For more information, reservations, and booking, feel free to look around the website at godjroyalty.com. I am DJ Royalty, and this has been another Royalty Entertainment production. Yeah.
Got Your Six Culture is a veteran-owned t-shirt company that's making a powerful impact, one t-shirt at a time. These guys are simply badass. Whether you're a proud veteran or a family member or a patriot at heart, you're going to find the perfect tee that speaks directly to your soul. But wait, there's more. When you shop at Got Your Six Culture, you're not just supporting veterans, you're supporting American small business. You're also supporting the dream of veteran-owned small businesses around the world, and these guys put heart and passion into everything through designing all their t-shirts right here in the USA, ensuring you have top-notch quality in every design that you purchase. Show your appreciation for veterans and first responders today, and head over to gotyoursixculture.com and browse their amazing collection of products. And guess what? Our friends at Got Your Six have a badass treat special for our listeners. Use the code TRIPLETHREAT at checkout and get an exclusive 15% discount on your purchase. So show your support for our heroes of country and community. Shop at gotyoursixculture.com right now. And don't forget to use the code TRIPLETHREAT at checkout for an additional 15% off. Hashtag same flag, same oath.
Hey guys, it's Jeff with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. If you've been thinking about purchasing a home but have questions about how your VA home loan benefits work, join us for our VA Home Loan Boot Camp. We have classes every Tuesday morning at 11 and Thursdays in the evening at 6 p.m. use the link below and you can register for our class so that you have all the information you need when you're ready to purchase your next home. We'll see you soon.
We back live in effect.
So Rich, hey Rich, I was going to tell you, I don't feel bad about failing air assault, school the first time around. I failed high school twice, bro, and look where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. and I'll tell you, I take back. I know Berto's already commented. Berto, I do take back my comment about the Army, because you know why I didn't join the Army? Because I'm watching these comments, and most of these posts and bases that y'all have, hell, I can't pronounce or even spell half of those. So I joined the Navy because that shit was easy. NAS Jacksonville. We name them after the city that they're in. Y'all got Fort Haka Chakalaka. I don't even know what the hell's going on, man.
Yeah. I actually wanted to be a Marine, but I just, the Army got to me first, and I was like, hey, man, whatever. It sounds good. And I really thought I had a shot at being a Ranger. And then, of course, recruiter fed me a line of shit. I tried to reclass the infantry, and at the time MPs were a critical MOS. I'm like, you're shitting me. I'm a PFC and I'm a critical. And then after that, I started moving up the ranks, and I'm like, man, I'm happy where I'm at.
You're still in phenomenal shape. You look like you could still So there's a couple different types of veterans. I was thinking about this week because I was watching this video of this guy who was like, I'm 101st, and he was clearly old. And some young kid, folded him up like a lawn chair. And I was like, damn, that would be me, right? But there's a couple different types of vets. And, there's the I wish you would and I still can type vets like you. You look like you still go out and take your PT test every week. Look like you if they called you back, you're going to be just fine. The rest of us regular vets, bro, we don't put on the freshman 50. Yeah. Like, I'm that vet, I'm not even going to fight you. Like, I'm the guy you're safe as long as you're within the max effect, outside the max effective range of whatever I'm carrying. But you look like you could still go down range with the best of them and do your thing. The rest of us, not so much. Maybe
I work out now because I can and I want to, not because I have to. And I think that really it's a big difference.
You look good, brother. And I know I was in the Navy, so that's kind of weird when I say it, because everybody's like, we knew probably he's in good shape, man. I'm jealous. I'm gonna hit some push-ups after we get off this podcast.
No, you ain't.
Me too.
I think the world wants to know, right? I think the world wants to know. So you have different types of people, like I was saying. But what is it about you that you can wake up and say, it doesn't matter where the Army sends me, where they take me. I have a job to do. I'm willing to put my life on the line. I'm here for my brothers. I'm here for my people. I'm here as a leader. And no matter what, I'm 100% in it, because I could just tell your whole aura about you. You're a leader. You're a natural born leader. People are going to follow you because you seem to be the type of person who you walk the walk with your people. And that's why the respect is so high. But in your words, what is it about you that makes you that way?
Well, first off, thanks for that. I think where I got that from is just kind of growing up in my childhood. I mean, again, I didn't really have a close relationship with my dad after my mom and dad got divorced, and I kind of realized that, what I was going to have to do, I was going to have to work for it. Nothing was going to be given to me. Again, like I said, we were poor, and I knew that I was going to have to work for it. And I'm very competitive, but at the same time, I also know that other people are, what's that? There's a phrase that's out there that's, I've never felt I was good enough. Let's put it that way. I've always struggled thinking of like, why did I get this job? There are better people than me out there.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have always questioned every job I've gotten. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I getting this job? Why am I fortunate enough? But the thing that I realized early on to kind of is I appreciated the people along the way, because I knew I couldn't do it by myself. That's why I bring up like Mickey McQueen. I looked at him and I'm like, man, that's a competition. I have to step my game up. Then I looked at in the 101st, Rich Vader. I'm like, holy cow, man! Here's a machine. I got to step my game up. Guys like Lonnie Lochner and those folks. So I always felt like I had to do better, and that I was never good enough in my own right. And so with that though, I always took things personal. I mean, I always took things personal. I mean, for God's sakes, we were MPs. I'm a battalion CSM, and my battalion's getting DUIs, and I'm like, how is this possible? We're hypocrites if we're out getting DUIs because we're supposed to be enforcing the law. We're not supposed to be breaking the damn law. And it just really upset me. And I remember we had an incident where we had a kid that had just gotten back on R&R, and I mean had not even been on the ground 24 hours. His battle buddy picked him up to the airport, said, hey, you know what the battalion commander and CSM, the 3Ds, don't drink and drive, don't get into domestic, and don't do drugs. Yeah, I got it. Well, I get a call that night, maybe 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and he had went to get some beer, had been drinking, went left to center and had a head-on collision with a car and killed, I believe she was a woman in her 60s. She died in her husband's arms. I was so freaking mad. And those YouTube moments and that, thank God at the time that not everybody had a cell phone. I was so mad. I every NCO in the battalion, 5 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, I said, I want a formation, 5 o'clock in the morning. I want every damn NCO here. And I lit into their ass. And I just told them, I said, we are failing. We are failing. We're failing our soldiers. We're failing the community at large. This is not what we do. And, damn it, people, you got to figure this shit out. And I was a lot more colorful than that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
colorful language
to this day, I mean, to this day, I still have soldiers that remind me about that. Sergeant Major, that was one of the most impactful things we ever heard. And I'm just like, I think that kind of goes what you were asking me about is that I've always taken it personal, and I've always felt like, I've got to do better. And a large part of it wasn't for me. It was really for my MOS, for the MP Corps. So, I was like, man, I'm not representing Rich Woodring, because I can get out at the end of the day. People are going to forget about me. They ain't going to care. But, I want MPs to be held in this regard. I want them to be known for this. I want them to be, this. And I've got to open that door through my performance, and other MPs have to do the same thing. And so that kind of was what did it for me. But I've always appreciated everything, every soldier I've had an interaction with, whether they were a great soldier or they were a terrible soldier. I've learned something from every single interaction. And you get a soldier that gets kicked out of the Army, you can do one of two things. You can be like, you know what, piss off, get out the door. I'm glad to see you leave, everything else. Or you can bring him in and say, you know what, the Army wasn't a good fit for you, but you gave it a shot, and I'm proud of you, because there's a million plus people out there that aren't doing a damn thing for their country. And you tried. So there's the difference right there. That kid's going to get out. He's going to go back and talk to his friends, and they're going to say, hey, I was thinking about joining the Army. What do you think? If I'd have told him just, hey, piss off, get out of the door, he'd be like, screw the Army. Fuck them. They're terrible. But this kid could go back and be like, you know what? It wasn't for me, but it might be for you, and so that's kind of just the way I've always taken the approach, is that, I want to be an example. And there were times I wasn't a great example. We all have those times in our career where we've screwed up, And you have to own that.
Look at Al.
You have to own it.
Woo!
So I probably spent 15 minutes on a 1 minute answer, but
No, that's good.
No, it's a perfect answer. That's exactly
that was a perfect answer, because I think it goes right into what we want to talk about now, right?
sure.
Like if you really think about what you just said, you had a kid that got kicked out. You told him what most people wouldn't. Like there's a lot of other people that didn't do what you asked to, like what you signed up and volunteered to do. So good for you for doing that. You'll find something. And I know that one of the things that's important to you is talking about how we as veterans can help increase that awareness and get people into service and do some of the things that we did before. So I would just be interested to hear your take on like your thoughts about that and things that you think we can do to help make that better.
Yeah.
If you could touch on
go ahead.
I would like to hear what your thought, like Matt said, but a little deeper, like the retention issues, right? Because you were in a command position, right? So maybe talk a little bit about how do you think we can help the retention piece, and then also like Matt was alluding to the recruiting piece and bringing the younger generation in to serve and defend freedom and democracy around the globe. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
So that was
Okay, so I'll start on the first thing of trying to get people in and get them engaged. And I think this is our responsibility as veterans is, I think when I got out, right after I got out, the first Memorial Day or Veterans Day, it was Veterans Day, I posted a little thing on Facebook and, I just said, hey, be proud of being a veteran, this and that, wear your gear and everything else, ask for those freebies and that shit, you deserved it. But I think the other thing that we have to think of is that us as veterans, wear those shirts, wear those hats, engage people when they ask you about your time in the service and that. And, there's a lot of folks out there that'll give you the negative spin, hey, I served in Iraq or Afghanistan. Well, you're screwed up. You've got PTSD, you're this, you're that. And there's so many stereotypes because we've had a lot of people kind of paint that picture, and I'm not saying everybody. There's a lot of veterans out there that they don't talk about those experiences. They talk positive, but I mean, in my example, I mean, I really didn't have a future if it wasn't for the Army. And I'm not saying that, and this is what chaps my ass about politicians sometimes, well, it's the military is a welfare system. They take the poor people and then they do this and do that. I tell you what, some of the brightest damn people I've ever met in my entire life were in the military, and they would be successful in any damn thing they did. So I don't buy that excuse for a minute. But I looked at it. I mean, I got to travel the world. I got my bachelor's degree. I paid, my daughter graduated debt free and everything from that. Those are the positives that you need to talk to these kids about and say, hey, look, even try it for just 3 or 4 years. Just give it a shot. If you don't like it, you can always get out. I mean, that's what I was going to do. I joined. I'm like, hey, I'm getting out. I'm just going to do this in the beginning till I find something else I want to do. I wanted to be a highway patrolman. But you do that, and you've got to talk about the positives. I mean, and you look at it at these times now. I mean, medical costs, the dental and stuff like that. I mean, my kids have braces. I mean, they must have got their teeth from somebody else, not me. But
somebody in Kentucky, probably.
Yeah. But all of those things, those little costs that add up and stuff like that. And then, you think about the opportunity to get a chance to see the world. I was never going to get to see the world. I remember kids in school talking, hey, my family and we went to Europe over there. I'm like, I'm never going to get to see that. Well, shit, I lived 7 years in Germany. I've lived a year outside of Istanbul. I lived in Seoul. I mean, it was just, those are the intangibles that they think. Are there times they're going to suck? Absolutely. But you know what? I challenge almost anybody in the world to tell me that you got a job that you love to go to every single day, and there's nothing that there's no problems ever, because I'm going to call bullshit.
Embrace the suck. If it's raining, we're training. That's how we go.
Yeah, I'm going to flat out say bullshit on that, because there's nobody that has a job that perfect. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that on that topic, right, when you talk to kids that are going to join the service and you're talking to them about the things they're going to bring in, obviously your recruiter was awesome and told you you're going to be a Ranger and you were sold, right?
Yeah.
But however, for the 3 Navy guys on here, we were all recruiters. That's what we did and help people get into the service. And I mean, I remember being told as a young recruiter that I gave people too much information. Because I told them days were going to suck. I told them they were going to have a good time. I told them when you went to boot camp, 2 weeks after you get there, you're going to hope that you find me on a street corner and we're in a dark alley alone, because it's going to suck when you get there because you're away from your family, you're away from your friends. There's nobody there that you're gonna know. But I told them the best thing that you can do is embrace that and understand that the people you're in that room with will now become that for you. And so you try to help them the best that you can. But I mean, you know, I think the problem nowadays is like the speed by which all the news and everything that we see gets to social media, and it jumps onto all of the channels, and you can see everything that's going on. And we already know that bad news is the best news because that makes the most money. And nowadays people don't form opinions based off of what they read or understand. They form opinions off of the group that they're in or the people that they run with, or this group of people I know thinks this way, so I got to feel that way. So I do like what you said about wear your hats and wear your shirts, walk around, talk about it. Matt, it's one of those other pushes. Jump into the VFW, get into the American Legion, be a part of these organizations that go in the community and help, because at the end of the day, if we don't change something, we're the world's greatest country for a reason, right? Because of who we are, what we do, and the brave men and women that make that volunteer, not just for the military, but overall that can protect our country and community. And if we don't continue that tradition, it's going to be a problem. And so I like how you said, just get out there and just be a part of it. Talk to people.
Well, and it's, I mean, you're absolutely right. And it's that part of just engaging people. And so like when I see older veterans, Vietnam veterans and stuff like that, I always go up, hey, thank you for your service. What unit were you in? You know, things like that. And, you know, those are just, and you'd be surprised at times I've done this, and I'll do it at Walmart or I'll do it something like that. And you'll see some young kid walk by and they'll kind of just be looking at you. And they're like, hey, what, you know, what's he talking about? What's he doing? And that, and those are the things you get that little tiny spark in them. And then they're like, you know what? Hey, maybe I need to check this out. Maybe it's not that bad. But and Lonnie said it best. Even the times it sucked were the best times you probably ever had.
Those were.
I remember being. I remember being in Korea, and it was just pouring down freaking monsoon rain, and we're trying to set this damn GP small up, and I'm just out there, and it is just. And finally, I'm just like, you know, I have all these Katusas around me and everything. And I'm like, I look up and I'm pointing, I'm like, is that the best you've got? Is this all you can do? And I mean, my Katusas are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, you know, we're all going to get hit by a bolt of lightning and stuff like that. And they're like, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to put this fucking small up if it takes us all night. And we finally get it up. And then I look back and we were all sitting there at the end of the night. We're sitting there and saying, and we are laughing our ass off about getting that tent up. I mean, it's just, it's still like one of the worst experiences I ever had, but it's still one of the funniest damn things that ever happened to me. Trying to put up the camo netting. I swear to God, the Army put buttons on your uniform so you get hung up like a tuna. That's the only reason. I mean, it's just, it was ridiculous.
I mean, every FEX you go on, every combat arms exercise you go on, that's the worst times ever, but it's some of the best. Yeah, it's funny what Matt had said earlier, and you mentioned too, Rich, but I had my recruiter, I'll never forget, because I was the same way. Like, man, my dad served, everybody served in my family. My little brother's logged in right now. My little brother was in the Army. Shout out to my little brother, Brett. He's on here watching us. But I'll tell you what, he told me, and it's true to this day. And Ty Cobb proved it recently, right? But I was told, like, the military is the only place that you go and you meet somebody on a Monday. Like, I just met you Monday. And on Saturday, we're best friends. You're at my barbecue. You're playing with my kids. And it is true. I mean, Ty Cobb, like I said, he mentioned, I mean, he let me stay at his house and he treated me like he's known me forever. And we bonded. But that's the only place, this is the only thing and only job in the world, period, that's what happens. Like you meet somebody and they are your brother, your sister for life. I mean,
and every single one of us has a friend in every 50 states that we can call on in an emergency and be like, hey, I'm right there.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I mean,
there's no other. IBM doesn't do that shit.
No.
Google doesn't do that shit. The United States military does that shit.
They don't.
I would say that the military is the place where truly you learn it's okay to fail because you can succeed. Because nothing that we ever did, like you would watch, like when I was when we got to that senior enlisted level, you could see someone going to do something and you're like, they're not going to get that right. But you're like, it's not that bad, so we're going to let them mess it up. Because it gave me the opportunity to show them, I'm going to let you try it, right?
Yep.
I've been telling you the right way to do it. You tried it. It didn't work. Are you ready to listen now? And sometimes it takes that person being stubborn to listen. And I learned the most in the military that like, it's okay to fail. Like it's okay.
Yeah. Well,
like
even
you're not going to,
But even from the veteran side of it, we're a breed of individuals and it's crazy that you could, like you just said, I could meet a veteran tomorrow and I'll stop what I'm doing, or they would stop what they're doing to help me or to guide me or to give me some leadership. Even at this stage in my life, right? That they would stop just like you. I mean, you would stop and give me. Civilians ain't going to do that. They don't give a shit about, what you're going through, right? They're too busy worried about TikTok and all this other stuff. But we stop and we take care of each other. I had somebody tell me one time that I took the easy way out. I think it was somebody in my family was like, you took the easy way out. Like, I don't remember you being downrange, kicking indoors, getting your ass blown off. Like you were sitting at home watching whatever, right? It's crazy. It's just a different community. And that's really probably the best way to describe us is we're a community. It's a family, a community. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the biggest challenge with the United States now is that, the majority of our kids aren't physically fit enough to study. Right. And I think, I hate to say it. I mean, I think we're going to have to lower our initial standards to get them into the system. I like the pilot the Army's doing where, hey, they're not quite ready. We're going to take them. We're going to give them some extra time, and then we're going to get them into the pipeline. And that I think we're going to have to do that. But there's also going to we're going to have to try to incentivize getting people in, and maybe shorter contracts. If we could get some corporations to jump in, for example, like Google or something, like, hey, we're putting in these fields. We're going to train you. You're going to do 4 years in the Army, and then you're a pipeline into Google.
Yep.
Or something like that. I think that would help, because I think if we can tie industry or military to industry or something like that, that helps retention. I think it helps getting people to join. Because a lot of kids initially may be like, no, I can't afford college. I can't do this. Well, guess what? You can get it in the Army, and then you can go into that system and you're going to be guaranteed, because maybe Google is one that's going to provide part of the training or something like that. And then, as far as retention in the service right now, at least for the Army, we seem to be doing a little bit better. Retention is not so much a problem. It's getting new recruits. And, so the Army, on average, in a perfect time, you're looking at about 100,000 recruits a year. That's what they want, because you're replacing what you're losing.
Yep.
And, so people always talked about this, like, well, why do we have to always train on sexual assault? Why do we have to train on EO and that? Because you're basically rebooting a tenth of your force. Or not, I'm sorry, 2/3 of your force every couple of years.
Right.
That's why you got to do it. And so I think for the retention in the service for those soldiers that are soldier, sailor, airman, marine, and guardians and coasties, you've got to incentivize. Hey, you know what? You've already shown us. You've met the gates. You've done this. You've done well. We're not going to make you have to do some of this redundant training stuff anymore, because you've shown that you're through this, that you're at a higher level. You're ready to do this. I think the other thing too, though, is we've got to be a little more open-minded in saying, hey, let's not be so damn rigid about, I want to change my MOS. Well, you can't. Because you're an MP and you can't go to anything else. You can't do anything else. Why? Why, I mean, why can't they? If they've been successful in that and there's an opening and it's going to, why can't we move them? I mean, it's just, we're so damn rigid and so hard against things like that sometimes.
I think that the military's answer to a lot of things, though, if you look at how they move things, is they feel like the senior enlisted guys are the ones that they can put those measures to, those rules to, and those expectations to, and keep them. And a lot of times they're not worried about the junior enlisted part of it, right? But what they don't realize is that junior enlisted is the future. Like I heard about in the Navy now, like there's Master Chiefs, E9s, they get selected. And now, in order to put that rank on, you have to take orders. Like you got to give the Navy 3 more years to get promoted. Like it's ridiculous that we have to do that somebody works a career to get there. And then you're trying to hold them in a sense hostage to stay. What they should do is invest that time to train these young people. But the problem is a lot of the young people that we have today, again, they're still part of that microcosm. They're so divided from things that they hear and see. Like it kind of sucks that nobody makes a determination anymore based off what they've researched or they've read or they've heard. It's all about my friend thinks this is where I'm at. And sometimes it could be parents, or sometimes it could be teachers. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter. People will form their opinions based off of what they hear. And then when you have real conversations with those people and you challenge them on that view, they've got nothing to tell you. And then they kind of realize, but they all resort to, you don't understand. And it's like, well, I'm trying to. I want you to explain to me why that is. And there's such a challenge in that communication gap that I still talk to. I'm sure we all talk to a lot of guys that are still in at higher levels. And they say that it's the hardest thing in the military right now to lead, because there's so much scrutiny on the leadership, right? You've got to conform to this and you've got to be sensitive to that. And you have to understand all these different things. And like, I get it. Military is a microcosm of society, but at the same time, the military is what keeps the country safe. So we got to go do these things. We've trained you to do them. Like there's the path. Like it leads straight down the road. We don't go left or right of that. We go down that path. And there's a lot of guys that are afraid to hold people accountable because they're afraid it's going to be outside of the path, even though they're doing it within the guidelines. And until we can fix how we allow leaders to lead and encourage kids to come in for things other than what they see on TV, it's going to be a struggle. I mean, I remember when we were growing up, you can get a college education in the military. You come in and you get medical insurance in the military. You come in and you get, vacation in the military. You come in and you get to travel the world. All the things that you just mentioned.
Yeah, but Rich also nailed it too. In like he said, like in the service, right? Because I'm sure Scott may be able to talk about it. I know you can, Matt, right? I came in the Navy as a combat engineer. I came in as a CB, right? I came in, it was a Navy combat engineer. And then I was lucky enough to get selected to go into the special operations side of it and do long range reconnaissance through my program. And then towards the back end of my career, I was able to go into the career recruiting world. But I'm like what Rich was talking about, giving people the opportunity to change an MOS or to find what your niche is. Because I don't think I would have stayed in for 22 years had I not had the opportunity to do different things, because I love being a recon operator with my team. I love that part of the job, but it was so, I was back then I was deploying 6 and 6 and then 10 and 6. And I was gone so much. I spent almost 2 years straight in Iraq, my first tours. Right. And having the ability to take that strain off my family and have somebody say, hey, I think you're good at that. You're phenomenal at that. However, you're really good at recruiting too. Have you thought about doing this? Right. And I did that. And for my first 12 years or so, I wasn't. And then I went recruiting on my back end of my tour, and it saved a whole lot because I never missed a birthday again after that. I never missed an anniversary, right? I was able to coach my kids, but it gave me the ability to continue to serve, but do something different. And I think if leaders would not press on their people to say, hey, stay in this and keep doing this and just figure it out and say, hey, where is your niche? What do you love to do? How can we keep you in the Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy? How can we keep I'll talk about the Air Force. Yeah, them too, right? How do we keep you in this service, right? And make it beneficial to us, to the service itself, right? Because that's what mission first, right? Mission always, right? But people first. It should be, right? So how do we
Yeah.
make it where you care about the country gets what they need and the service gets what they need, but that person gets what they need too, right? They're fed and they're motivated to stay. Like, give people opportunities to branch out and try something new. Because like you said, what if you would have went, Rich? What if you would have went the Ranger route and you absolutely hated it? Which I don't think you're not built that way. You would have crushed that shit too, right? I don't think there's anything you couldn't do that you wouldn't have crushed. But what if that wasn't your niche? Right? Yeah. Somebody should give you the opportunity to do something different, that you can still be a service to your country and you can still be a leader to your people, but do something different outside of the norm. Scott was in the Navy. He was on ships and he did a bunch of deployments. Matt was the same way. He was a CB and he did Korea and some stuff, and then had the ability to change and do something totally different. That probably kept most of us in the military, because I probably would have punched out after my last tour. I mean, I'd have been done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tell you what, if I was king for a day, every single American would have to be in the service.
I agree.
They would do. I'd have one of two things. You're either going to serve in the military or going to do community service. You figure it out. There's different paths, and I mean, that could be a whole nother show of how we could solve the world's problems on that. But I think that it's just like Starship Troopers. Citizenship has a price. You're going to serve. You're going to do this, and there would be no waivers. There would be no, hey, I'm rich, I'm going to pay my way out of it. No, you're not. You're going to serve. Just the way it's going to be. That's one thing I would do. I think the other thing is that I think we look at the education system in the military, at least our leadership training in that, completely wrong. I'm an E9. I'm going to the Sergeant's Major Academy for 9 months. And you're going to give me blocks of instruction on counseling and leadership and crap like that. Are you kidding me? And I know a lot of that's filler, to try to give us a break and stuff like that. But why aren't we training our sergeants, our buck sergeants, that stuff, letting them get all of that knowledge and then working up? And as you get more senior, it's a freaking refresher. It's not doing all of this. We're not investing the time into those folks, because they know it. I mean, and they feel it too. It's like, I'm just getting the hand wave on this thing. So they're not going to be invested in wanting to stay. They're going to try to find those things. So I think those are a couple of things that we've got to do, is we've got to change our training focus and our leadership training. We've got to start younger, and it's got to be more intense. It's got to be meaningful. And then the other thing is if you're in the military, I think every single kid, every single man, woman, service member, that they should have guaranteed at least 2 hours a day that they can dedicate to college or to a trade school or something like that. And that kind of gets at your retention thing of now, hey, I'm not going to add this to your day. You want to do it, you do it on your time. No, we're invested in you. We're going to give you this time to take this class, and everybody's going to do it. Those are a few ideas of things that I think that would help. They'll say it costs money and everything else. The shit we waste money on is unbelievable.
Well, I mean, it would cost money, but you could even take your senior enlisted guys that you're making go to filler training, teach those buck sergeants and those first class petty officers and those sergeants in the Marine Corps and the airmen, and you could take those seasoned leaders and have them train on the things they've done in their career. Because let's be honest, when you went to the academy and you went through the counseling section, did you really learn something?
No. I told him, I flat told him, I said, listen, I'm not going to change my ways. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm not doing it.
You could have taught.
Well, Rich, that got me in trouble, Rich. That's why I retired 2 years before I was supposed to. But I said the same thing.
That's another good point.
He did not like
right?
it.
But that's the point, is we're always so worried about what other people are going to think. We got to get back to the military and service that is you're here to serve your country.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do. We've trained you to do that. I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast a lot of times. The military trains us very, very well how to do our job. Yeah. We could do better at teaching people how to get out, but we could also do better at teaching people how to stay. And staying means that it's like any job you do, like being in the civilian world right now. There's a lot of people that I talk to in the job that I work that I'm asking them, why are you looking for something new? And they're like, the company I'm in right now is not offering me any opportunity to excel or advance or do better things. I have no ability to further my career where I'm at. I want to leave. And us not training those young guys and not putting effort into the younger guys from them is the same thing. They're leaving because they don't see upward mobility, right? I saw a comment in here before that the promotion system's crazy. I mean, we all feel like that, but then each service does it different, right? Like in the Navy, you have to take a test in order to earn your rank from 4 to 6. And if you don't pass the test, that's on you. The test is on your job. I've seen so many,
and we give you, like you just said, the Navy, they give you, we would give our people, I think it was an hour a week or whatever it was, to not do their job and to study for their advancement exam. No, it was more than that, right? Was it an hour a day? We'd give them an hour a day to study advancement, and they would still bomb the test. Like, what are you doing with that hour I just gave you?
But then the other thing I would always come down to, and I took it personally too, and I felt like I could have done a better job when I was in as a leader, right? Is if I've got people failing a test that are in my rating that are doing their job, or they're in an MOS or a rating in the military that's not here, what can we do better in order to train them? And when we were in the Navy anyway, we could send people back to a unit for a week to go into a skiff, to go onto the ship, to go onto the submarine, and you could get back into your job and kind of get refamiliarized with the things you did and the things that have changed. But that program was there. Yeah. But did we really use it the way we should have? We didn't. Because there was a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are like, we can't let everybody go. Okay, well then let the nuke engineers and the top secret guys go, because they definitely can't study all their stuff. Yeah, but we need them. We need them. And it's like, we get it, but you have to invest in people in order to make them great. And we do that in boot camp, because we all learned you got to be there on time. You have to wear the right uniform. You said it earlier, right? Wear the right uniform, do the right thing, don't get in trouble. So we learned how to do all that. And the people that just learned, if I'm at the right place at the right time and do my job, I'm good to go, did well. And then people that just couldn't conform and didn't want to get to that, they tried it. Wasn't for you, you moved on. But we're still at this point where we can't figure out how to make it right. You know, in the recruiting for the Navy anyway, we've tried to go civilian with it. They've tried to create this thing where we're mirroring what civilian companies do to recruit people into the military. Newsflash, everybody. The military is not corporate America. It's just not. Like, we're teaching people to defend the country, and there's a different way to do that. And you can't, like, structure it the same way, you know? And my opinion, because I was in when we did the old ways of recruiting, as soon as they changed that model, we started to struggle, because now there's no, and if it's changed,
well, Matt, the Army tried it. The Army tried it. The Army did it and said it doesn't work, and they
brought civilian people
in. They abandoned ship, and then the Navy's like, hey, that shit didn't work for the Army. Let's do that. Like, wait a minute. You didn't take a note out of the Army's playbook and say, probably should abandon the run. Let's pass downfield. Like, let's not do that.
Yeah, just again, we're trying to conform with society, and that's not gonna work. Like, you have to keep that tradition and value of what the military is there. You know, like, the thing that I loved about being in the Navy the most is the tradition that we have. When you join the Navy, when you learn about the Navy, and then ultimately, if you do a career and you retire, that stuff is from the 1800s, and we still honor that tradition. But that's not something that you know unless you've invested in it, right? And you should be proud of that. And it's just one of those things that until we can fix that part, it's going to continue to go down this path. I mean, I guess you could say it's scary. But again, we were all said, the people above us, Rich, I know the people that were above you are like, man, we are screwed when that Woodring dude's in charge. We figured it out. And I'm hoping we can do it.
You know, but at the end of the day, sacrifice to people in the military and sacrifice to people in Texas Instruments are two different things.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we truly know what sacrifice is going to entail. It's going to impact our families. It could possibly impact our lives. You know, a guy going into Geico, sacrifice doesn't mean the same thing. Oh, I'm going to have to sacrifice 2 hours extra to work tomorrow. So,
oh my God, I got a 45-minute commute. I don't know if I can handle it.
I had that in less than 6 miles in DC, so I feel no sympathy.
So Amber had a question. I know Ty started. I wanted to make sure that Rich had a chance. I think the question was for you, Rich. I want to make sure I didn't want to skip you, Amber. Sorry, just want to let Rich have a chance to answer your question if he can or if we can.
On my 100% disability form, I'm seeing so many people getting med boarded before one contract 100% for cycle brands. Yeah. I'll say two things. And one of them's not popular. I actually got into a fight with a psychiatrist about this one time at Leonard Wood when we had the training for the military police school and that. And I said, listen, kids are getting the answers to the test. They know what to say. They know how to do it. I said, you're not, I said, there's some Academy Awards that should be given out for some of this shit. Frankly, I think we're way too liberal on it. For the PTSD and that, and I'm not saying that not everybody, but I've also said this before too. If you had something pre-existing and you came in the Army and then all of a sudden it got triggered because you were in the Army, that's not the Army's fault. Nope. I'm sorry. It's just not. And, sad for you, but I'm not going to give you 100% for it. We take in a lot of people in the service who had pre-existing conditions, and then they get out at 100% because they'll say, well, their time in the service just exacerbated it. Okay. Big deal. I had a heart condition before I came into the Army. If I had a heart attack, it wasn't the Army's fault. It was my fault. But yeah, I don't have the answer for you, but I tell you what I suspect. And the argument I had with the psychiatrist, she's like, it's not that easy. You don't understand the things we do. Oh yeah. That's why we have kids in the barracks talking to each other about their appointments and, hey, this is what you got to say. And this is how you do it and everything. I said, they're a hell of a lot smarter than you think they are. So that's a large part of it is they've got the answers to the test and they're bringing up, I know I've got to say this about trauma. I've got to say this about anger. I've got to say this and my anxiety. And if I get those three things in there, I'm at least getting this. And the whole fact that you hear it in a form absolutely means they're talking about 100%. Correct. They're being coached.
If you did 4 years in the military and never deployed, didn't do anything, and you get 100%, it's a travesty. Because my next door neighbor lives right next door to me. He's a retired comm senior chief from Vietnam and did, I think, 6 tours in Vietnam, and he got 10%. He's sitting next door at 10%, hearing problems, back problems, fighting with TRICARE for his wife's shoulder surgery, and he is getting 10%. Where and I got a family member, not who did 4 years, was in the Army, phenomenal. But some of the stuff that he got out with, he had knee problems when he came in, did his 4 years, got his 80%. It's crazy. My cousin cut a toe off in the Army, right? Like doing something stupid. Like he was doing something stupid and lost a toe and got 100%. Like he wasn't at work. He was at home doing something stupid and lost a freaking toe.
Big
Army
toe?
gave him. He got no. I think he's like Dion, like the pinky toes.
And it don't matter.
I had a guy. Crazy. I had one of the doctors flat tell me, he goes, how long have you been in the service? I said 34 years. He goes, shit. He goes, you should be 100% for just being able to put up with it for 34
just
years.
being able to say those words.
and I was like, I said, hey, thanks. Are you the guy signing the check? And, he just went from there. But I think it was, and Cobb may remember that. We had a soldier that she had a sexual assault issue or something in basic training or AIT or something like that. And it happened when she was in a Humvee. And so she got to the unit and she couldn't wear a uniform. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, Sergeant Major, she's from this thing. She ain't got a uniform. I said, how the hell is that possible? And I said, how can she be in the Army? And how the hell can she be in a deployable unit and not wear a uniform? And they're like, oh, and she can't be in a Humvee. And I'm like, well, of course not. She can be in civilian clothes and fly in a helicopter, but she can't fucking do anything else. I'm like, no way. There is no way. I mean, those are some of the nonsensical damn things that you look at and you're just like, are you serious? And, it wound up, soldier got separated 100% right off the bat. And I'm just like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, why you would send her to that organization in the first place. And legitimately, she had an issue. I'm not making light of the situation that she had, but we did her a disservice by sending her to an organization like that. So somebody dropped the damn
operations
ball.
unit.
Yeah.
There had to be something else that she would have been good at, if they could have helped her out.
She could have went into the White House communication section, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. You know, and I learned something when you get in very senior levels. You know, you have this thing. It's combat politics and then verbal judo. And you know, I mean, it's always one of those. I mean, it's people up there. You're supposed to be strategic in that, but God, it is so political, and it just drove me up a frickin' wall. And I mean, Cobb knows I'm not political. I would beat my head against a fucking wall sometimes. I'd just go in my office and close the door, and I would just scream. And I'm just like, this is the stupidest damn thing I've ever heard in my life. And then I'd have to walk out there and be like, and I'm just like, this is not me. And I just really, really struggled sometimes. And I saw, Colonel Lenz, I saw your comment. You're right. I mean, the promotion system right now, toxicity still lives. And we do have idiot leaders because a lot of them it's political. You've got to know the politics, or you're not going to get ahead. And, you know, it is frustrating. I've seen a lot of really, really good leaders that couldn't make it to the top because they couldn't do politics. And I've seen a lot of very piss poor leaders who knew everything about politics and had no fucking business being anywhere near soldiers, let alone shit, anybody. I mean, it was so frustrating.
So I see Scott, you keep bobbing your head. I see the smile come out a couple of times. You must got something on your mind because you've had a couple of moments where I'm like looking at your face like he's got something he needs to get off his chest. I think.
I saw the same thing, and I was like, man, he's talking about being in the Pentagon. He's talking about walking around with politicians. He's talking about every single day he sat in a hot seat. Every day. Like it was always the hot seat.
I'm ready.
Time to get it in.
Here we go.
I'm going to say I'm ready, but that's probably imposter syndrome right now. I'm not ready.
As long as you say Michael Jordan, if that's one of the questions,
that's
all I give a damn about.
Hey, and guys, I'll apologize right up front. I can talk for hours.
Oh, so, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I did want to say shout out to my man Dusty Rudd, my bud that was on here. I saw him. I saw him,
and hey, I'm even ready for this because I saw Rudd go through this. So bring your best shot, man.
Here we go. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and give you these High Tizzle top 10. Give you 10. All right, and I'm gonna, because I don't see color or anything, we're gonna go straight to it. You're in your car, riding on a long trip, and you got a list of 5 rap songs that you would play in your car. What are they?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, 5. Yeah, 5 of them. No,
so I told you I was going to a Kiss concert, so hang on here. I would say Stan with Eminem and Dido.
Okay.
I would say I like, oh gosh darn, what's the one with Run DMC? It's
Run DMC, Walk This Way.
It's like that. Gosh darn, what's
It's tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
okay, so that's 2. That's I need 3 more. Fight the Power.
Fight the Power, Public Enemy. I got you.
Yeah, okay. I like that. And then, gosh darn, I was just listening to it today. I'm terrible with names. I know the lyrics.
Give me the lyrics. I can catch it.
It's Brothers is no, that's Fight the Power. Hold on, it'll come to me. I'm taking a long time on this. I'm sorry. Let me skip to the next one then.
No, you're good. I want you to fight through this one. Fight.
Okay. It's
we got Eminem, Run DMC, Public Enemy.
It's gosh, dang it.
Give me a little bit. Sing what you know.
We can ain't gonna be no war no more. There ain't gonna be no war. God, Flavor Flav.
Okay.
What's the name of the song?
It's another Public Enemy song.
It is. It's one of my favorite ones. And And I'm sitting here, I'm sounding like a fraud because I don't know the damn name of it. So I will come back to it. I'll give it. Okay. I'll give you that. I owe you that answer. And then I wouldn't say it's so much of a.
It's a Christmas party, right? The Christmas.
I wouldn't say it's so much of a rap song, but I like the Tom Tom Club, "Genius of Love."
Now you got it, "Genius of Love." Give me a little bit of that. You lost me with that one. Come on, give me some of that. What you gonna do when you get out of jail? I'm gonna have some fun. Okay, what do you consider fun? Yeah. Matter of fact, I heard it live. There's a live version that's even better than the recorded version. So I'm sorry I kind of screwed that one up. You made up for it with that. Because I like the way you swagged it. You made up for it with that one. I'll give you credit for that one. All right, that was good. All right, here we go. Biggest life lesson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm bringing the heat today, baby.
So the biggest life lesson for me was that despite the circumstances, and no matter how hard things are, that if you believe in yourself and you invest in yourself, that you can get through things. There's been a lot of times, like I said, I had that imposter syndrome, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I can do this. I know it's going to be hard. Maybe I'm not the top choice for this, or I shouldn't be doing this, but by God, somebody saw it in me. So I got to live up to that.
My man. Okay. What is your favorite exercise?
My favorite exercise is the dead bug.
Explain.
Okay. So you lay on your back. You have your arms straight up and your legs are bent at a 90-degree angle. One leg goes back, the other leg goes forward. You rotate it, do it. I do that after crunches. I can't even get up.
Wow. So that's an ab exercise.
Yeah.
All right. My six-pack is on the way. Six-pack is on the way.
I love the dead bug because it's kind of easy, but when I do it after I've done crunches, I can't move.
All right. I'm going to put that into my repertoire.
Yeah. You got to do about 50 of them.
Okay. What do you miss most about serving?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah.
The people. I mean, just absolutely every day to go, no matter how shitty your day was or anything else, you could always go in and you always had somebody that would pick your day up.
Okay. All right. Are you a top rack person or a bottom rack person?
I would say bottom. I just wasn't. Matter of fact, I was bigger than my roommate, so I made him use top rack.
All right. Now we're getting into the real deal.
Okay.
Halftime. LeBron James, Michael Jordan.
Oh God.
Come on, Rick.
I had a feeling this one was going to come up.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go with Michael Jordan. And the reason I'll say Michael Jordan is that I grew up in that period. Well, I've seen them both. They are definitely the two best players I think that I've ever witnessed play the game. But I just think with Michael Jordan, there's just that extra air of mental toughness that I don't think LeBron James necessarily needs it, because I think skill-wise he's a little bit better than Michael Jordan. But I think if you look at the tenacity level in that, I think that's where I would put Michael Jordan above him.
Okay, so let me rephrase that and ask this in the question way.
Okay.
Which one would be a better service member, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? Jeez. Since you guys want to beat up on my man like this, just want to hear it. You're the leader, and they tell you you on this special assignment. You're either going to get Michael Jordan to go with you, or you're going to get LeBron James.
It's going to be Michael Jordan.
You're taking Mike with you?
Yep.
Oh,
yep. I'm taking him just on the pure leadership thing. He's gonna win it. He's going to win it. He's going to will you to win it.
Yeah, he's going to win it because he's going to gamble some stuff on it to get the win. But
well, I like Kobe Bryant too, and I haven't heard him come in today.
Yeah. All right. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince. I absolutely love Prince.
So you're going to say? Are you going to say because he can play all these instruments too?
No, I just think as a songwriter he was phenomenal. I mean, I like Michael Jackson too, but I tell you what, I listen to Prince songs almost every damn day it's on my playlist. I have a different Prince song on it.
Okay, so what's your favorite Prince song?
My favorite Prince song is God, you're hard because you always put me on the spot with these things.
Because see, you got to shoot these things out so fast. But then,
yeah.
I love Prince. What's your favorite song?
Take Me With You.
Take Me With You. Okay.
And he didn't touch little boys.
Where we go.
You don't know that. You don't know that. He played basketball in blouses and ate pancakes with the people he played basketball
I don't
with.
care, pretty baby, just take me with you.
Okay.
That whole
All right.
album's a classic.
All right, Rich. I'm gonna change the temperature on you.
All right.
These last couple of questions.
Okay.
If you had the power to bring anybody back that you've lost, you only can bring back one. Who would be the one person you bring back to have a conversation with, and why?
I've actually thought of this one before. George Washington.
Okay.
And my whole thing would be, is this how you envisioned America? Is this is the Constitution and everything else, is this what you envisioned to survive this long under that pretense? I'd like to hear what he would say.
Wow. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. Because I think he would be like, you're kidding me, you're doing what?
Right.
Still?
Right.
So I just, it would be him or Thomas Jefferson, somebody in those, but I think it'd be George Washington. It'd just be like, hey, you were the first president. Is this what you think we should be doing now?
Gotcha. Okay. Like I said, I'm turning up the heat. What is your lowest moment, and how did you strap up and get through it? How'd you snap out of it?
So my lowest moment was probably when I lost my first soldier, when I lost a kid named Danny Daniels. I was a gunner in a squad. Really didn't have a mark on him, just a tiny little bit of shrapnel in the back of his head that killed him. But I realized that during that moment that, you know, I had to be strong because I knew that the company was going to be suffering. And I knew from just other soldiers that had fallen and stuff in different units and that we were in a combat zone. We had a mission, and, you know, we were still going to have to go forward, and we were going to have to continue on. We were going to get a day or so to get reset, but we were going to have to go right back outside those gates and do the same thing again. And I knew I could not quit. I had to be an example and be like, yeah, this sucks, but you know what, guys, the enemy gets a boat and we got to go back out and do our part.
Wow. Rest in peace, Danny. That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that,
John. I appreciate that. All right. Last question. And you out of the hot seat. When it's all said and done, you've done all you can do, and it's time to put you down for the last time. We're never going to have the chance to see Rich again. What is the one thing that you want the world to know about you and that you want us to remember about you?
That I am eternally thankful for the men and women that I had the opportunity to serve with. And I won't say that I led or anything else, that I got to serve with. It has been an absolute honor to see, you know, just the greatest Americans that there is, to go out and join the service, knowing that you could potentially give your life up for something, for a country, and frankly, sometimes a lot of people that don't even care. It's been the greatest honor. I mean, you know, obviously my family and stuff like that, but just being able to say that I was a soldier and I served my country with the best men and women there were.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, you made it through the hot seat, and I will tell you that everybody here, that everybody who's watching live, all the friends and people who are going to see this later, I know that they will agree as far as what you would want them to know about you. I feel like they would agree that you stood by that. I appreciate you doing the hot seat with big DJ Royalty. You did a good job. You did it with your hat on. Hey, so
I failed in the rap
appreciate
section, but I'll make it up someday.
Rich, I will tell you this. I'm almost sad after listening to you through this podcast. You're very obviously just so impressive. I'm almost sad that I never had the opportunity, the honor to ever serve, with you or, under your charge. You're such a inspiration and just such a motivating leader. Even now, I don't know how long. When did you retire? When was your actual?
About 2 years ago. 2 years in November.
Me too. So it saddens me, right? Because I mean, leadership. You are the epitome, and you exude that word. That word is just who you are. It's insane. I mean, I served in the Navy for 22 years, and I've served under some phenomenal leaders. But I'll tell you what, I've never had the privilege of listening to somebody like you. I mean, it's overwhelming. Like I sat here and I'm like, man, I would have loved to just have served under you, and even taken a couple knife hands. And I would have took more than a couple. Just, I'm honored and proud.
Well, he's ready
to say I know you. Now that I'm honored and proud to say that I've met you and I know you. And man, I wish you the best in whatever.
I appreciate it.
So impressive. So impressive.
So this is exactly why I'm gonna say a few names here. So this is all people that were in the battalion, and a lot of them were in the company. When I got to the 101st, so Sergeant Major Woodring was a Sergeant First Class in charge of First Platoon. He had Brandon Hughes, he had Kevin Daly, he had Sergeant Bailey, and then there was a female sergeant that I can't remember her last name, but she was friggin' awesome.
Gabrielle.
Yes.
Graves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Graves. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th platoon. I mean, one of my best friends ever, Chris Barnes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Frederick Darden, Robert Telford, Bobby Parks, John Williamson. I mean, Corus Bullock, Kevin Walsh, Michael Corvacero. I mean, these are all people that we served with. So I've told this part of the story about 1,000,000 times. Is you guys were my leaders when I first came into the military as a PFC. And you said something earlier about, jack of all trades and all that kind of stuff. Well, I can tell you everything that I ever learned in the military was because of that very short time that we spent in the 101st. It was imperative. You knew everything that was going on in the company. So that's how I learned. So that's why when I became, a senior leader later on, that's why I made myself know every single S shop, every single company. I wanted to know people's buttons to push. I was known as being very abrasive, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
you're doing it for your troops.
Exactly. Yeah. I appreciate the charge you gave me and the latitude I was given for the 15 plus years that we deployed together. And I've told this story 100 times. I don't know if I've ever actually said whose name it was, but it's you. I remember you told me if you ever need a day off because of all the deployments, talking about mental health a little bit, just show you a picture of my uniform. So I used to walk into, I think I did it one time. I walked into your uniform, to your office. It was like, hey, I need a day off. And you always had my back. When my mother passed away,
come on, brother.
Yep.
We right here,
man. This one with this. Yeah.
You had my back when my mother passed away. You helped me build a team that I wanted to build to go on this 15-month deployment that we were going to go on. And just the introduction to the leaders of Fort Campbell. I mean, you said I was everywhere. It was because of you that I was on General Petraeus's, PSD team, because you were part of when we did that final get ready to go to Iraq. I got moved to the PMO office. And if it wouldn't have been for that, my career could have gone a different way.
You set your own path, Cobb. You didn't need me. You set your own path.
I did need you, though. I needed all those leaders that were there in front of me to set my azimuth straight so that I could help all those people that came.
Yeah. Hey, DJ, I'll tell you, man, I'm sweating from that thing. I really. Those questions.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about them damn rap songs. I'm going to all night be awake thinking about them.
Yeah. Well, when you get them,
we can redeem you though, because we're going to go into the sports section now, and you were talking a lot of sports before we came on this thing.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to my boo.
Marcia got on. You see Marcia?
Hey, my boo's on. Y'all give my boo a shout out. That's my future wifey. My boo's on. Just want to give her a shout out.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll get right into it. So last week, Tennessee beat Texas A&M 2013. Stanford beat Colorado 46-43. Georgia took care of Vanderbilt. Missouri beat Kentucky. Was not expecting that. And then FSU took care of Syracuse. So this is where we look after 7 weeks.
God, I hope you pick some better games this week, since we're like not picking our teams, because I got to get out of the dumpster. This is crazy.
Hey, we may give Sergeant Major a chance to choose the game.
Me and my battle buddy, bro, we leading the pack, bro. I'm with you, Ty. Hey, let's do it.
You guys play it safe every week,
Yeah,
dude.
You play it safe. You know risk.
We play it safe.
You know that, homie. I make very valid choices.
Ty, I get it. You're over there researching and analyticing and all
that
shit.
Actually, I called Dusty because his whole family, even though Dusty can't pick for shit, his family does that for a living. So Dusty, I just reached out to Dusty, and whatever Dusty picks, I pick the opposite, and I'm doing good. Thank you, Dusty.
Yeah. All right, here's what we're looking like when we picked the Colorado schedule. We all lost this game. It wasn't looking good. So
man.
Right now it looks like I'm out of the predictions. They've already won 5 games, so I think Al's out. But
no,
looks like Scott or Matt.
They haven't won 5 yet.
I'm sorry, they're at 4. That's right.
I picked 5.
Yeah, if they win out, then Scott and Matt win. I have no chance of winning now. So anyway,
I just need him to win 2 more games. That's it.
Not gonna happen, Playboy.
Who said 10-2? That was who said 10-2?
That was me.
That was Matthew.
No, I think
10-2.
Ty was 10-2. Yeah, Ty was 10-2.
I said 10-2. I thought it was going to be a.
Okay, me and Matt said 9-3. Yeah.
But Scott,
you
we
know
just
what?
need 2 more games, bro.
They should have won that game last week. That's just being honest.
No, I
should have, could have, would have.
Close on the
horseshoes and hand grenades, bro.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I should have been born tall. No, Scott, I should have been born tall and with more than 5 inches of girth in my pants. I don't want to hear it, bro. Listen,
they did not lose. They did not get beat by the other team. They beat themselves as a team.
That's true.
They did not. It was not even as far as the talent level. It was a matter of the other team kept their head in the game. You know what I mean? And it goes back to kind of like what we're talking about when you talk about military, right? When you put a person in the box with one way out, you find out what you got. At that point in time, they were in a box with nowhere to go but up. They were either going to lay down or fight. The same thing Colorado did when they played
TCU.
Yep. They got in the box and they fought their way out. So that's what happened. But they had it. They just lost it.
Hey, so real quick, what game are we picking instead of the Georgia game? I don't see anything written in there.
I remember I posted something, but nobody gives a shit.
We should pick the Navy game. Navy Air Force. That's the one we're picking.
No, because that's an easy pick. Air Force is going to whoop that ass.
Are you sure? That's a service academy game.
It don't mean nothing, boy.
Okay.
I said
you're right. The only one that matters is in December.
I said Utah, USC.
USC.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the last year's
Utah, USC. Where's that game being played?
Who does Alabama play?
Who cares?
Tennessee.
That'd be a good game.
I said to pick that one too. Nobody likes my picks.
I
don't know why we went LSU Army. I didn't pick that one. But Ty, I appreciate you for thinking of both the home state and your
there was some logic. I think LSU is either Army or LSU is who Texas A&M play next. UCLA or Stanford is who Colorado plays next. And then I picked the Ohio State game because who Kentucky plays next is also on a bye. So
that's a hard game.
I picked some games randomly. So
yours is tough, bro. That Ohio State Penn State game.
Yeah, well, it's just the highest ranked game.
So is the USC game. That one's going to be hard to pick too. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
that
so
game
what are we
being
doing for Georgia and
I want Utah and USC just because last year that was
Utah,
the
USC.
championship, and
Where-
USC was supposed to, I don't know. Let me look. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Where's that game being played?
All right, I'll
Hey.
go ahead and do my picks first.
Everybody
All right.
pick against Penn State. Dusty picked Penn State.
So I need to see because looking on this screen, I don't know who it is that what am I doing right now? I'm confused.
So you versus Army. Who do you got?
Okay,
They're at
UCLA
USC.
versus
Sorry.
it's the green. So we're going through the green writing, right?
Correct.
But Georgia, what are we doing in Georgia? I don't
That
see
one's going
anything.
to be USC and Utah.
And they're playing at USC.
Yeah, Utah, USC.
Okay.
I'll pick
They're
first.
both
Scott.
ranked 12 and
Go
14.
ahead. All
right.
T.Y.
All right, so UCLA and Stanford. I got Stanford.
Is that the top one?
LSU and Army. I got
You know
LSU.
he's coming to the Army last.
All right, so you got LSU,
USC and
Army.
Utah. I got USC. Ohio State and Penn State. I got Ohio State. And then FSU and Duke. I got FSU.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm
Al,
missing again.
your turn since your battle buddy and you are in the top of the rankings. Go ahead.
So I'm going LSU. I'm going UCLA. I'm going, oh, man. I'm going to skip the Georgia one because I got to come back to it. I'm going,
Remember, Dusty
Ohio-
picked Penn State.
I'm definitely going Ohio State. And I'm going FSU. And then coming back to USC and Utah, I'm going to, who'd you pick, Ty?
No.
Don't matter
You're
who
on
you
your
pick,
own.
homie.
You're on
Make
your own, brother.
decision.
See, that's how
Damn,
Al
bro.
rolls, bro.
Oh, that's how we roll
Well,
first
hey,
start. That's
hey,
cool.
Ty,
That's cool,
hey,
bro.
Ty.
That's how you
can
got
I jump
there.
on
You
your-
picked all the
Yeah.
games I picked.
Can
Okay,
I ride on your back, Ty?
So I'm gonna go with USC.
Okay.
I didn't pick USC.
I know you didn't, but I don't think they have a repeat of last year, bro. I don't see it happening.
All right, go ahead, Matt or Scott.
I mean, I'm dead last, Scott. You might as well let me go last, buddy.
You sure?
Yeah. Why not? I can't get any further down the well.
Oh, you fucking can. You probably will this week, but it's all good, brother.
God bless America. Hey,
Go ahead,
one
Scott.
week I could turn it around, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's like
I'm
the
gonna go
lottery.
UCLA over Stanford. I'm gonna take LSU over the Army. I'm going to take. Dang, man, I'm on my whole left side again. I'm going USC over Utah, Ohio over Penn State, and FSU over Duke.
Okay,
Gotcha.
I have a couple questions. Where is the Ohio State and Penn State game being played?
Ohio State.
Ohio State's at Ohio State. Don't you see that little green H?
They're in the horseshoe, baby.
No, I can't see any of that green
It's
shit. I'm
Dr. Ryder.
colorblind.
I do this while I'm in other meetings. That's
Yo.
why it's so messy. I ain't
If
got
the
time
VA,
to
if
spend time.
anybody from the VA is watching, Matt Johnson's eyes are bad. Can we bump his rating up a little bit?
Please. Anyway, so we're gonna go LSU. They're gonna win.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Stanford because I think they're gonna build off what they did. UCLA is just like USC. They're gonna take a game off, and I hope it's this one. I'm praying anyway.
They've already lost 2. They've already taken 2 off this season.
Yeah, but they're not going to take any more off, dude. And then for the USC Utah game, I'm taking Utah, I'm taking Ohio State, and I'm taking Florida State.
Okay.
Hey, Becky said, by the way, keep preaching, Al. What else do you want to give me for my disability rating? What else?
I got you, Becky. I'm gonna take care of him. I got him. You see his
All right,
ugly ass
Sergeant
feet?
Major.
He got some.
I
feet
need-
You
on.
were up
I need
now.
some buddy letters.
You're up now.
Okay, I'm going to take LSU because this is why we can't get recruiting in the Army because we're going to get our ass pummeled by them. I'm going to take UCLA and I'm going to take USC because Caleb Williams has to do better now that he's going to say that he wants teams to
Yep.
let him have ownership. So
And
he's
lost.
gonna have
He
to-
lost to Notre Dame, which is crazy.
Yeah. Ohio State, and I'm going to take FSU.
My man.
So I feel confident because Command Sergeant Major picked what I picked, so I'm good. I'm good. I am good. No matter what happens,
I hope I don't jinx you.
My fit rep's on point.
So Al, you got UCLA. You got LSU.
Yep. We picked the same. Me, you on the same page, bro.
Okay. All right.
Not me. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, nobody's picking.
I gotta do something to come back,
bro. No one's picking with you.
Yeah, but I'm at the bottom. So the only thing I can do is pick different than y'all and hope that I come back up.
Right.
So I'm either going to stay last or I'm going to move up.
Numbers
you got to take a chance.
Numbers don't lie, bitches do, bro.
Al, they let you join the military. Somebody took a chance on you. That's all I'm saying.
Numbers don't lie, bitches do. They tell you that it feels good. They love you. Bitches lie. Only the tip, all that game. You are going to lose again.
I
can't wait till the college basketball picks.
His mic in time.
Right.
Basketball almost muted his mic in time. Almost.
I haven't said one F word this whole podcast.
Yeah,
FYI.
You made up for it in other places.
I was going to tell you did a good job.
Hey, shout out to Grant Garrison, the two-time golf champion. Got your six.
Sergeant Major dropped 3 F-bombs this podcast. I counted. I didn't drop one, motherfuckers.
All right. Hey, so Sergeant Major, I got a quick question for you. What is your favorite ass chewing you ever gave?
Who?
Oh gosh, man, that'd be like a top 10.
Right.
So there is no favorite.
I'm going to tell you the favorite ass chewing I ever received.
I would probably say that it was a sergeant first class in Hawaii who got accepted for a job at the Pentagon, and he thought that he was too good to take this job in the Pentagon. And when I told him that he was going to go to the Pentagon, he told me, well, I'll just get out. And I about fucking lost my gourd. And I don't know what it was. I mean, it just is his whole attitude, the way he came in there. I lit him up so damn bad that the S3 section heard me, and they were like 30, 40 feet down the hall. And my commander, he actually left. He said he went in and told, I think he went in and told the XO, he's like, you heard Sergeant Major? He's like, yes, sir. And he goes, I'm leaving. And and
those are the
he's
best
like,
ones.
And he sits there and he goes, he's scaring me. He's like, he's scaring me too, sir. That was probably the one. I mean, it was almost one of these that turned into one of these.
Yeah.
That was probably the word. It was bad. And I will admit, after it was done, I felt bad about it. I was like, man, I probably crossed the line, but that guy was just so damn arrogant and so pompous that I just wanted to snap his fucking neck. I'm sorry.
No, but listen, I would say props to the XO that was like, I'm out.
Right.
Let the command sergeant major do his thing. I'm gone. I don't want to hear nothing. Y'all should leave too. Props to that dude. He let it go.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever
I'm scared. I am too.
Have you ever given somebody an ass chewing that didn't deserve it? Have you ever given an ass chewing that you wish you could took back?
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. I had a kid in a board on a promotion board one time, and again, he came in a little cocky and stuff like that. And I said, "Hey, man, let me tell you something." I said, "You do not need to be in the Army." I said, "You're wasting my time." I said, "You're arrogant, and you think that this is just going to be given to you." And I said, "You don't have a future in the Army if you're going to act like this." This kid hunted me down like 5 years later when I was a regimental sergeant major, and he goes, "Hey, sergeant major," he goes, "you probably don't remember that you sat on my board and you told me that I was worthless and that I wasn't going to have a future in the Army and this and that and the other." And I said, "Okay, I don't remember you."
Should have said
I said
you're
that.
welcome.
Yeah. Well, and I told him, I said that to quite a few people probably.
I don't remember the terms that I dropped.
And he sits there and he goes, and I said, "And so what happened?" And he goes, "Well, I got pissed off." And he goes, "I took it personally." And he goes, I just, I was out to prove you wrong." I said, "Congratulations. You proved me wrong." I said,
Sergeant Major, what is this about? Lonnie keeps mentioning this, and I want to know who this person was, because he's mentioned the E8 with orange hair a couple of times. So I want to figure out what Lonnie's talking about.
I'm afraid that I don't remember this. Now I knew a E9 with orange hair, but you may have to give me a little more info there, Lonnie. I'm not tracking this one as well as I probably should.
Name drop that punk.
I think I seen somewhere where he said it was a female because it said
yeah.
Oh, don't name drop. Don't name drop. You'll get canceled. You're going to get us canceled, bro. Don't name drop.
I believe I know who he's talking about. But this would have been, oh boy, gosh darn, there was another one.
He said Korea. Somebody in Korea. Don't name drop. It's a female, bro. I don't want to get canceled. Don't do that shit, bro. We'll have the Me Too movement, the YouTube movement, the All Too movement. We'd be in trouble, bro. Don't do it.
I'm thinking it's the one that, okay, Korea would have been the one that replaced me in Hawaii in the 8th MP Brigade. I think that's who it was.
Yes.
Yeah, she was a piece of work.
Special.
Yeah. Yep. That's who it was.
Hey, Lonnie, you're pretty good, bro. Hey,
Flojo. I'll just leave it at that. Flojo.
Yeah, exactly. Rod said that's what Rod said. Rod hit him with the flow.
So Ty, you just said you were going to give us your favorite ass chewing you ever received of all time.
Oh, my favorite ass chewing I ever received was because of a dagger that
here we go. This damn. I'm gonna buy one from China, and I'm gonna give it to you.
An important dagger.
This dagger.
Yeah, so I wasn't even signed for the shop anymore. Someone else was. His name was so and so, and then we lost the dagger somehow during the sensitive items inventory, and so I got called back to the shop, and I had taken over the SIGO's office because I was on my way out. So we had like a hands across, the cantonment area looking for this dagger, and finally the sergeant major came in. We had all the senior NCOs in the office. He comes in and he's, where the F is this and where the F is that, and everybody's looking everywhere. So they go to this small little fridge up in the front of the shop. I had a big ass shop, like I had a arms room and everything. It was amazing. But he finds Corona, like a 12-pack of Corona, and he absolutely loses his mind. But the funny part of it is, like, you can see his face, like when he realized, oh shit, I have to do this in front of everybody. I have to give it to Cobb because of this beer in his fridge. So I saw the look on his face because I learned how to do that from him. I mean, by having a beer with your squad leaders and talk about shit that's coming up on the training calendar. So that was my favorite ass chewing of all times. Now I've had some ones that are actually serious where I was like, I'd probably fucked up or something, but yeah, that was definitely my favorite. Yeah. All because of this man right here.
I'll give you one last one. I was doing a briefing and I was lighting these guys up. We were downrange, and they had done something that wasn't safe, and I was really fucking pissed. Dang it! And the radio kept going off, and I'm like, I said, turn that freaking radio off. And they did it, and I start talking again, and I hear the radio go off again, and I'm like, I said, give me your radio. And the guy gives me his radio, and I take it and I throw it against the wall and I break the damn thing. And I'm sitting there and I said, turn your freaking radio off, blah, 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 blah.
There it is.
Going, and I hear it beep again. And I'm just like, veins are popping and everything else. I'm like, this is it. I'm killing somebody. And I look down and he looks and he goes, First Sergeant, your radio. And I'm just like, oh. I must have smashed like 5 radios in there. So the butt chewing I gave that I didn't, or that they didn't deserve, that was it. I should have gave it to myself. I was so mad. I was so mad.
Wow.
But who is Colonel Chris Burns?
Who is this Colonel Chris Burns? Because Clifford said that's his new boss.
He's a good dude.
Okay.
Colonel Burns is a good guy. I think you do well with him. Matter of fact, believe he just got out, so that's interesting. But solid dude, very, very solid dude.
Well, all I'm going to tell you on that last story there, Rich, is that everybody in the room was like, this dude is crazy.
Yeah,
he's throwing our shit against the wall, and it's his going off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Something bad's probably happening, and we're not going to know because he's yelling at us.
Yeah. My combo guy that was sitting next door that was running the RTO that was over there, when they got done and everybody left out and everything, he's like, oh, my God, First Sergeant. He goes, everybody left. Everybody in here took off and they left because they didn't want to be in your path.
That's the second time.
Yeah, when you get out, and I'm just sitting there, I was like, I felt like such an idiot. I was just so freaking mad, and I'm just like, man, I deserve that one because
did you have to pay for the radio?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
See,
so my new song for you is going to be LL Cool J. I can't live without my radio.
So the song I was thinking from Run DMC, it's like that. And that's the way
like
it is.
That's the way it is.
And that's the way it
is. Okay.
Yeah. So I partially redeemed myself, and there
was no redemption needing Sergeant Major. We
are the man.
Guys, I will tell you what, I have absolutely loved this. This was fantastic. If you ever need somebody to kill dead air for you, I'm your man. I'll come back.
You're welcome anytime.
Anytime.
Truly an honor, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, definitely appreciate it, guys. I wish you all the best. I'll be watching these shows in the future and that. So great what you guys are doing. I just really appreciate what you're doing for
What can we improve on? What can we do better?
I'm getting fired, bro. Whoa. Let's not ask that question online, bro. Damn.
Hey, I think nothing. I think you guys are, and DJ, I think you said it yourself, that, eventually this thing's going to get big, and I think it will. I think you guys are on the right path. You're getting the right people out there and doing this. It's entertaining. It's fun, but you're still hitting those hard topics, and I really appreciate it. So I think you guys are doing the right thing. The only thing I could say is that some senior people out there, some that are still in. Get them on the show and ask them those hard questions.
Yeah.
And see what they say. See what they bring up to you. I'd love to hear their combat politics.
Right.
I can be a little unvarnished now, whereas before I probably would have been, technically.
I'm with you. Commodore, if you're out there listening, which I know you're not, I want you on here, man, because I want to ask you why my style of leadership is no longer authorized in the United States military, and I'm old school, and I should have went home. Well, I went home, baby.
Let's so Jerry Alchin, you've been challenged. Come tell us how you're going to fix Navy recruiting.
I called him. I talked to him today. Well, he's in Washington right now, getting the business. I'm gonna call him and get him home.
You didn't realize that was coming when he took that job. He's like, I'm going to implement this prospecting plan. We're going to put a whole bunch of people in. It's going to be. Wait, I got to go to DC. What are you talking about?
Jerry, Sergeant Major's got a shirt on. It says E90. Now it's your turn, bro. Let's E9 a little bit. Come on. Let's see what you got, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh guys, love it. I'll do it again someday if you need somebody to kill dead air.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been blessed to be in the room with our man Rich Woodring. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast Show. I'm your man, DJ Royal T. Bring my fellas in. I need to see all my fellas. My man, Rich, is there any last words that you want to say before you get out of here, my man?
Hey, I hope you all have a blessed Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and all that. Just take care of each other and sell the service.
Salute to you, my friend. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you do. My man, TY, you bought the man in the room. Is there anything that you want to say to the people before you leave today?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a little glimpse into the leadership that I had. I've often said that I was a recruiter's wet dream. I walked in, I knew I wanted to join. When I got to Fort Campbell, I had leaders like this that were doing top cover for me the whole time. It made my 18-year career and 7 deployments seem like a cakewalk compared to all that overhead fire they had to cover from me. But I'm appreciative. Thank you for listening to Rich Woodring and Sergeant Major. Thank you so much for sharing your stories.
My man.
Thank you.
We're going to slide on over to my man, Al Hero, in the building up on my top center. What you got, my man?
Nothing, bro. Love you guys. I'm glad this is therapeutic for me and the shit I deal with every day. Love you. I've met a bunch of friends through this podcast, like my boy Dusty, lifelong brother forever. Love you guys. Thank you for letting me stay on here and not fucking cancel me. Love y'all. And just for Rich, I got one for you.
To my man, to my brother like that, my man Big Matt, what you got for the people before we leave?
No, I'm same way. Rich, thank you for coming on and sharing all the knowledge that you have. It's very entertaining. I can't wait for the next visit. And I got to plug it. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Got Your Six is selling some breast cancer awareness t-shirts. They're right here in the back. 25% goes to Susan G. Komen. So go to the website. We now have the website, sameflagsameoath.com. Go check it out. Buy a breast cancer shirt, give back, and let's find a cure.
My man, I'm going to give a shout to some of the people that's still on before we leave. I see Marcia's in the building, Rod, Steve, Shizza, Lonnie, everybody who was out there that watched us today, that took the time to get to know my man Rich. We appreciate you. You guys come back. Make next time be your best time. I am DJ Royal T. I want to give love, blessings, and be safe. Understand that mental health, mental wellness is a real thing. If you know somebody who may be in a dark space, make sure you reach out to them. We cannot afford to lose another person to suicide. Let's work on that. Let's do better. Let's be better for each other. I am DJ Royal T. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast, and we're out of here. I love y'all.